Have you ever been sound asleep and suddenly jolted awake by a pain so sharp, so deep, you can't even take a full breath? That's what I saw. One quiet March night, the bedside lamp cast a soft amber glow across the room. And there she was, my grandmother curled at the edge of her bed like a child, her leg twitching, her foot locked in a cramp, so tight I could see the shape of the muscles beneath the blanket. Her toes curled inward, her skin damp with a thin sheen of sweat. She wasn't crying out, she just bit her lip and gripped the side of the mattress, trying to ride it out in silence. I had woken to the sound of the bed frame creaking. Looked over, the clock said 3:14 a.m. She lay there breathing like someone who'd just run a long way, but hadn't moved an inch. The next morning, I asked her softly, "Grandma, were you in pain last night?" She smiled, brushed a hand through my hair. "Oh, probably just a bit of muscle fatigue, sweetheart. I always prop my legs up with a pillow. Helps with circulation." I paused. She'd been doing that for years, every night, like a ritual. And yet, her sleep was still breaking from pain. That's when it hit me. What if the very habit she trusted, the one meant to help, was actually the thing causing her pain? What if that pillow meant to comfort was quietly getting in the way of her rest? Some things we do every night just feel like common sense, like the way my grandmother always stacked 2, sometimes 3 pillows beneath her legs, right under the calves. Carefully, night after night. "It helps with circulation, dear," she'd say with a soft smile. "Makes the legs less sore in the morning." And we believed her because it sounded right. But strangely enough, her legs started feeling heavier. Some mornings she'd sit at the edge of the bed, quiet, slow, her hands gently rubbing her calves, eyes still clouded with fatigue. And most nights, between 2 and 4 a.m., she'd wake up suddenly, curled forward, one hand gripping her thigh, the other pressed against the blanket, trying to soothe a sharp cramp that wouldn't let go. At first I thought maybe it was the cold, maybe her age, circulation changes, tired limbs. That's just part of getting older, isn't it? But then I read something that made me pause, a note from a cardiologist in Minnesota, someone who works closely with older adults. Elevating the legs too high, especially under the calves, can bend the veins behind the knees. This creates a bottleneck in blood flow and compresses the lower leg nerves. Over time, it can cause muscle tightening and nighttime cramps in seniors. I read it again, slowly and suddenly. Those extra pillows under her legs didn't look so helpful anymore. They looked like trouble in disguise. What we thought was relieving tension was quietly increasing pressure in her veins. It was like bending a garden hose and watching the water struggle to get through. Only this time it wasn't water, it was her blood, trying to move, trying to flow. And the cramps, they weren't random. They were her body's quiet cry in the dark. Something's not flowing right. After that, I started seeing her bedtime routine differently. No longer just sweet and familiar, but with concern, because sometimes, even the kindest habits, the ones we believe in, the ones we repeat with love, can leave someone hurting in silence, night after night. And the scariest part, they don't always complain, they just adjust. They rub their legs longer in the morning. They breathe through the pain at 3 a.m. They smile and say it's nothing, even when something is wrong. Big changes sometimes begin with just one small pillow. I remember the night clearly, not because anything dramatic happened, but because for the first time I truly paid attention. Grandma had already drifted off. The soft rhythm of her breath filled the room. I walked over quietly, lifted the edge of the blanket, and peeked underneath. 3 pillows stacked neatly under her legs like steps on a staircase, forming a high slope beneath her calves. I reached out. They were firmer than I expected, not cloud-soft like I'd always imagined. And every single one pressed right under the knees, right where blood should be flowing freely. I stood there a moment, then slowly slid one pillow out. She stirred slightly, mumbled, still half asleep. Without the pillow, my legs feel like they're floating. And then she drifted off again. I froze, not because of what she said, but because of what it meant. Even when something's not helping us anymore, if it's familiar, it's hard to let go. That next morning, I didn't say a word, but that night, I tried something different. Instead of 3 firm pillows, I took one soft, low cushion, and I placed it not under her calves, but just beneath her ankles. Just enough lift to ease the pull, without bending her knees, without blocking the flow. No pressure, no sharp angles, just space for her legs to breathe. That first night, she didn't sleep perfectly. I could hear her shifting, turning gently, not quite at ease. But she didn't wake up from a cramp. There was no sudden groan at 3 a.m., no holding her leg in silence. Just restlessness, and then stillness. The next morning, she sat up slowly, no rubbing her legs, no deep sigh, but also no complaint. She just stood up, made her tea, and went about her day. Night 2, I did the same. One soft pillow, under her ankles, nothing else. And then, on night 3, something shifted. I was up already, sitting in the living room, a book in my lap, the sun barely rising. And then I saw her, walking out of the room slow and steady. No wince, no holding onto the wall, just carrying a little towel in her hand. And smiling. I slept straight through the night, she said. No pain at all, my legs feel so much lighter. Maybe it's that pillow. You put in the right spot. I didn't say much, just smiled and nodded. Because that moment, that quiet, simple morning, felt like a gift. I realized then change doesn't always arrive with fanfare. It doesn't always need new equipment or long explanations. Sometimes it starts with a different way of seeing, a small action done with love and enough patience to try again night after night. Grandma didn't need to give up her pillow. She just needed the right pillow, in the right place. And in that small shift, her body found something it hadn't felt in a long time. Relief, real rest, without struggle, without fight, just sleep. The kind that lets you walk freely in the morning and smile at someone in the kitchen as if the whole night had been kind to you. You don't need a doctor's visit. You don't need fancy gear or expensive gadgets. Sometimes, the secret to sleeping without pain is just one pillow. Placed the right way. I used to think like many people do, the higher the legs, the better the blood flow. Grandma thought so too. But the truth is much simpler. Your legs don't need height, they need harmony. A gentle lift aligned with the body, not folded, not strained, just supported. The 3 simple adjustments. Small changes, big difference. 1. Use only one soft pillow about 2 to 3 inches thick. More pillows aren't always better. Stacking them too high or using something too firm can bend the knees at an odd angle, like kinking a garden hose. When that happens, blood struggles to flow back toward the heart. Nerves get pinched, and by morning, you wake up with tingling toes or legs that feel like they've been holding tension all night. But one soft, low pillow. That's enough. Just a little lift, gentle support without pressure. That's all the body needs to exhale. Place it under the ankles, not the calves. This is where most people go wrong. When you place a pillow under the calves, you cut off the space behind the knees, right where major veins and nerves run through. It may feel supportive at first, but over time it builds pressure. Instead, slide that pillow down. Place it just under the ankles, the furthest point from the heart, where blood tends to pool. With a soft lift there, the entire leg rests like it's floating on calm water. Straight, supported, free to breathe. 3. For side sleepers, use a long pillow between the legs. Many older adults find comfort sleeping on their side. But without support, the top leg presses into the bottom leg. That pressure can twist the hips, pull at the knees, and squeeze the veins between them. A simple body-length pillow between the thighs and knees. It keeps both legs aligned. No pressure, no twisting, just a gentle balance from hip to shoulder, and your spine stays in line like a soft wooden flute. Gentle bedtime habits that help even more. Before lying down, warm a towel and place it on your feet for 10 minutes. It loosens tight muscles and tells the nervous system it's time to rest. Then try slow ankle rotations 5 times each way. No rush, just smooth, easy circles. It helps the joints stay flexible and lowers the chance of cramps sneaking in after midnight. What the experts say: when the legs are elevated properly, the lower veins flow freely. We've seen nighttime cramping drop by up to 60% in older adults just by changing pillow position. Dr. Elaine Turner, Geriatric Sleep Specialist, California Institute of Restorative Sleep. That line stayed with me because I used to think sleeping without pain was just part of being young, that after a certain age, the body simply forgot how to rest. But now I know when the body is placed just right, it remembers. It restores itself. Like a well-tuned guitar, it doesn't take force. Just the right position, and suddenly, it hums again. Some of the biggest changes in life don't come from a doctor's order or a fancy new machine. Sometimes, they begin with something much simpler: a pillow and a second look. Ever since we changed the way Grandma propped up her legs, something shifted quietly but unmistakably. No more sudden creaks of the mattress at 3 a.m. No more sharp gasps echoing down the hall. No more rushing to her door, heart racing, wondering if it was another cramp. The nights became still again, peaceful, like they were meant to be. This morning, she stepped out onto the porch, her feet steady beneath her. No cane, no hand on the wall, just her, holding a warm cup of tea, sitting gently in her favorite wooden chair. She rolled her ankle in slow, easy circles, then brushed her hand along her calf, lightly. No tension, no tenderness. Then she looked over at me and smiled. It was so quiet last night, wasn't it? Just one sentence, but I knew exactly what she meant. It was her first full night of sleep in months. No pain, no interruption, just rest. And as I looked back into the house, my eyes landed on that one small pillow. The one we used to overlook. Placed wrong, it had led to weeks of broken sleep, cramps, silent pain, but placed right. It became something else entirely, a quiet gift, a soft bridge, carrying her body from dusk to dawn. And maybe you already have a pillow like that in your home right now. You don't need to buy anything new, just lower it. Move it toward the ankles. Skip the knees, skip the calves. Let the blood flow free. And if someone you love sleeps with their legs propped up each night, maybe tonight's the night. You sit with them, take a gentle look, and try something small. Because sometimes the difference between a night of pain and a night of peace is just one pillow, placed with care and a little love.